And joining me now is the Executive Director of the Omran Centre for Strategic Studies, Ammar Kahf. The centre focuses its research on the Syrian conflict. Thank you very much for your time and coming in here today, Ammar. Now, obviously this local arrangement is working at this point for Aleppo, but meanwhile, right next door in Idlib province, we've got these deadly airstrikes continuing, many more killed today. What's your take on this, given the fact that the ceasefire has broken down, bar the Takira?
Well, I mean, the Syrian regime has never complied with the ceasefire in the first place. The Russian airspace has complied initially, but now has rejoined again to support the ground forces of the regime. So we're witnessing an escalation of violence in rural Damascus and in the suburbs of Damascus City, in Idlib, in Aleppo, even in Aleppo. One of our members was there just a few days ago, and the city of Aleppo all of a sudden was completely wiped out or shelled, almost completely wiped out. And unfortunately, there is no compliance by the regime. Every time we talk about a ceasefire, it goes back and forth, and it's a negotiation of which area complies and which area is under the map of the Russians or the regime. So even the regime, when they said they have complied, on the ground, it's a totally different story.
Remains very localised. But fighting in Aleppo has been the main cause of the peace talks process. Why is fighting for Aleppo so strategic? And what do you think the rebels make of this ceasefire?
Well, I mean, the regime has been trying to reconsolidate its power and using under the shell or the shadow of this alleged ceasefire to regain control of certain areas and reinforce its control and those perhaps not drawn borders between the areas of control within Syria. So the ceasefire has reinforced those borderlines between the different areas of control and authority, between ISIS, between the democratic forces or the Kurdish forces in the north and the regime and even the opposition. So it has reinforced those borders and reinforced a plan for partition, unfortunately.
But since April the 22nd, over 290 people have been killed. At what point in these peace talks will accountability be discussed, especially in regards to the fate of Assad, do you think?
Unfortunately, UN Security Council Resolution 2254 does not talk about accountability. And what's going on in Geneva today is a meaningless talk over issues that are not relevant to the people on the ground. People want the humanitarian element to be separate from the political track, and the release of all detainees. They want a real sustainable cessation of hostilities that is related to a complete transition of power out of Assad.
Okay, really appreciate your contributions today. Thank you so much, Ammar Kahf.